A chill wind whipped through the city. Laura Mitchell pulled her coat tighter, her breath misting in the cold air. Streetlights cast an eerie glow, their beams struggling to penetrate the dense fog. She was a shadow, moving through a city of shadows, always chasing, never quite catching. Tonight, the chase was personal. The case had burrowed under her skin, its icy tendrils wrapping around her heart. Each victim, a mirror reflecting a truth she couldn't yet see. The fog seemed to hold its breath, mirroring her own growing unease. It whispered of secrets hidden, of truths obscured. Laura reached the alleyway, its entrance shrouded in an almost impenetrable veil of fog. The air hung heavy, thick with the stench of dampness and decay. Her hand hovered over her holster, her fingers itching for the reassuring weight of her gun. This city, once familiar, now felt alien, hostile. She plunged into the fog, the darkness closing in around her like a shroud. The silence was broken only by the rhythmic thud of her own heartbeat in her ears. Every fiber of her being screamed at her to turn back, to escape the suffocating grip of the fog. But something drew her forward, an invisible thread pulling her deeper into the labyrinthine heart of the city. The name echoed in her mind, Thomas Reilly. It was a name that had become synonymous with success and influence, a name that commanded respect and admiration in every corner of the city. A name that had once graced the society pages, now splashed across the front page of every newspaper in the city. The headlines screamed of scandal and mystery, drawing the attention of every curious mind. Found dead in his own home, a man at the pinnacle of his career, brought low by an unseen hand. The scene was a stark contrast to the life he had led, a life filled with opulence and power. His murder had sent shockwaves through the city, shattering the illusion of safety and order. People whispered in hushed tones, their faces etched with fear and disbelief. Reilly was a pillar of the community, a successful businessman, a philanthropist. He had donated generously to various causes, his name often associated with acts of kindness and generosity, or so the world believed. Beneath the surface there were whispers of darker dealings, of secrets that could tarnish his pristine image. Laura had learned long ago that appearances could be deceiving, that beneath the veneer of respectability lurked a darkness that could consume even the brightest souls. She had seen it time and again in her line of work, and she had a feeling that Thomas Reilly's soul harbored its own share of shadows. There was something about his death that didn't sit right with her, something that gnawed at the edges of her mind. The investigation had been frustratingly stagnant. Leads that seemed promising at first quickly turned into dead ends, and witnesses who might have had valuable information were either uncooperative or mysteriously unavailable. Reilly's life had been meticulously curated, his public persona carefully crafted. He was always the center of attention at social events, his charm and charisma drawing people to him like moths to a flame. Those who knew him best seemed genuinely shocked by his demise, their grief a palpable weight in the air. They spoke of him with reverence, their voices tinged with sorrow. But Laura had learned to trust her instincts, and something about their grief felt off, like a performance staged for her benefit. There was a hollowness to their words, a lack of genuine emotion that set off alarm bells in her mind. There was something rotten at the heart of this case, a stench of corruption that clung to everything Laura touched. She could sense it in the air, a pervasive sense of unease that seemed to follow her wherever she went. She could feel it in the evasive glances of Reilly's colleagues, hear it in the carefully chosen words of his family. They were hiding something, and Laura was determined to find out what it was. They knew more than they were letting on, their secrets buried deep beneath layers of deceit. Every piece of evidence she uncovered seemed to lead to more questions, more mysteries that needed to be unraveled, and Laura was determined to unearth them, no matter the cost. She knew that the truth was out there, hidden beneath the lies and half-truths, and she was willing to do whatever it took to bring it to light. The enigma of Thomas Reilly would not remain unsolved for long, not if she had anything to say about it. The crime scene was a macabre tableau, a chilling reminder of the fragility of life and the darkness that lurks in the human soul. Reilly's study was a testament to his wealth and success, lined with bookshelves and adorned with expensive artwork. The room exuded an air of sophistication and intellect, a sanctuary for a man who had seemingly achieved everything. Yet the air was thick with the metallic tang of blood, a stark counterpoint to the room's opulence. The contrast was jarring, a brutal reminder that even the most secure of sanctuaries could be violated. In the center of the room lay Reilly, his lifeless eyes staring vacantly at the ceiling. his once commanding presence reduced to a mere shell, a tragic figure in a tableau of death. He had been murdered with a single, precise gunshot to the head. The wound was clean, the work of someone who knew exactly what they were doing. No signs of a struggle, no forced entry. The room was eerily undisturbed, as if death had slipped in silently, leaving no trace of its passage. Whoever killed him was no stranger to violence, their movements swift and sure. They had come with a purpose and executed it with chilling precision. It was a professional job, executed with chilling efficiency. The killer had left nothing to chance. Every detail meticulously planned and flawlessly executed, but even the most meticulous killer makes mistakes. In their arrogance, they had overlooked something, a small but crucial detail. On the desk, next to Reilly's outstretched hand, lay a single sheet of paper. It was an anomaly in the otherwise pristine crime scene, a clue left behind either by accident or design. Scrawled across it in a spidery hand was a message: "The truth will out." The words were haunting, a cryptic promise of revelation and justice. A chill ran down Laura's spine. The message felt personal, as if it was meant for her, a challenge thrown down by an unseen adversary. It was a message from beyond the grave, a promise of retribution. The dead had a way of speaking, their whispers carried on the wind, demanding to be heard. But from whom, and for what? The questions swirled in Laura's mind, each one more perplexing than the last. The message was a puzzle piece, a clue to a larger mystery. The message was a puzzle piece, a clue to a larger mystery. It hinted at secrets long buried, truths that someone had gone to great lengths to conceal. It whispered of secrets buried deep, of truths too dangerous to ignore. Laura knew that the key to solving Reilly's murder lay in deciphering the message's cryptic meaning. Laura knew that the key to solving Reilly's murder lay in deciphering the message's cryptic meaning. It was a challenge she couldn't ignore, a call to arms that resonated deep within her soul. It was a challenge she couldn't ignore, a call to arms that resonated deep within her soul. She felt a sense of duty, a need to bring justice to the dead and peace to the living. The truth would out, and she would be the one to uncover it. Days bled into nights as Laura immersed herself in the case. The walls of her office seemed to close in on her as she pored over every detail, every scrap of evidence that might lead her to the truth. Her desk was a chaotic mess of files, photographs, and notes, each piece a fragment of a larger, more sinister puzzle. She interviewed Reilly's family, friends, and business associates, each encounter adding another layer to the intricate tapestry of lies and deceit. Every conversation seemed to reveal a new facet of Thomas Reilly's life, a new contradiction that made the man even more enigmatic. His family painted a picture of a loving husband and father, while his business associates described a ruthless, calculating individual. The more she learned about Thomas Reilly, the less she seemed to understand him. He was a man of many faces, each one more perplexing than the last. Laura found herself questioning everything she thought she knew about human nature and the lengths to which people would go to protect their secrets. He was a man of contradictions, a philanthropist who ruthlessly crushed his competitors, a loving husband who engaged in numerous affairs. His public persona was that of a benevolent benefactor, yet behind closed doors he was a man driven by darker impulses. The duality of his nature made it difficult for Laura to discern the truth from the lies. The investigation led her down a labyrinthine path, each turn revealing another dead end, another carefully constructed alibi. It was as if Reilly had anticipated every move she would make, leaving behind a trail of breadcrumbs that led nowhere. The frustration of chasing shadows began to take its toll on her, both mentally and physically. She chased shadows, her frustration growing with each passing hour. The city seemed to conspire against her, its labyrinthine streets and alleys becoming a maze she couldn't escape. Every lead she followed seemed to evaporate into thin air, leaving her with more questions than answers. The fog that had settled over the city seemed to mirror the confusion clouding her own mind. It was a thick, impenetrable mist that obscured everything in its path, making it difficult to see the way forward. Laura felt as though she was wandering through a dream, unable to find her way out of the darkness. She was no closer to finding Reilly's killer, no closer to understanding the motive behind his murder. The case had become a tangled web of deceit, with each thread leading to another dead end. Laura knew that she was missing something, a crucial piece of the puzzle that would unlock the mystery. Just when she felt like she was drowning in a sea of dead ends, a break in the case emerged. A phone call in the middle of the night brought news of a second body, a young journalist known for her investigative reporting on corporate corruption. The discovery sent shockwaves through the city, and Laura knew that this was the break she had been waiting for. A second body had been found, this time a young journalist known for her investigative reporting on corporate corruption. The scene was eerily similar to Reilly's murder, with a single gunshot to the head and a cryptic message left behind. The journalist had been on the verge of exposing a major scandal, and Laura couldn't help but wonder if her death was connected to Reilly's. The modus operandi was eerily similar to Reilly's murder, a single gunshot to the head, a cryptic message left at the scene. The similarities between the two cases were too striking to be a coincidence, and Laura knew that she was dealing with a highly intelligent and dangerous individual. This time, the message was different, yet equally chilling. Silence is golden, but it comes at a price. The words sent a shiver down Laura's spine, and she knew that she was dealing with someone who would stop at nothing to protect their secrets. The message was a warning, a reminder that the truth could be deadly. Two murders, both seemingly unconnected, yet linked by an invisible thread of malice. Laura began to see the connections between the two cases, the hidden links that tied them together. She knew that she was on the right track, but the path ahead was fraught with danger. Laura couldn't shake the feeling that she was missing something, a crucial piece of the puzzle that held the key to unraveling the mystery. She spent countless hours going over the evidence, trying to find the missing link that would bring everything into focus. The pressure was mounting, and she knew that time was running out. The fog of confusion seemed to deepen, but through the haze a glimmer of understanding began to emerge. Laura felt a renewed sense of determination, a spark of hope that she was finally on the right track. She knew that the answers were out there, hidden in the shadows, waiting to be uncovered. Someone was silencing those who dared to speak out, someone who would stop at nothing to protect their secrets. Laura realized that she was dealing with a conspiracy that went far deeper than she had initially thought. The stakes were higher than ever, and she knew that she had to tread carefully